Now, staying with that, Senator, as the party contemplates its future, you yourself has faced recent calls to retire or at least step down as Senate Democrats leader. You've said you're staying put. Tell our audience why. Would you explain that, please?
But he says Schumer is right now making this something he spends his political capital on. And I want to
wait, what is this?
I'm talking about Harvard and fighting Harvard. And I want full disclosure here. I'm an executive fellow there. I teach entrepreneurship. I guarantee everybody at this table, Harvard will survive every administration for another 200 years.
Well, I mean, I don't know that anybody's defending Schumer's
it's part of the problem for the party.
But
I'm staying put because I have been able to unite my caucus in a very strong fight against Trump. And that's what we have to do. And I'm doing it every day in every way.
I think who I voted for would be the best to take care of Trump. Because Trump is, I'm sorry to say, an ass. And he shouldn't even be president of the United States. But because he is, we need a strong person so that we could stand strong.
We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. The system of open global trade, anchored by the United States, a system that Canada has relied on since the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped deliver prosperity for a country for decades, is over. But it's also our new reality. We are over the shock of the American betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons.
But you're going to take us forward.
We have to look out for ourselves. And above all, we have to take care of each other. When I sit down with President Trump, it will be to discuss the future economic and security relationship between two sovereign nations. And it will be with our full knowledge that we have many, many other options than the United States to build prosperity for all Canadians.
There's two sides to every story, right? Perhaps maybe we should tell our side, which ironically, Trump's getting, I'm not quite sure exactly what their angle is here, but Trump is actually getting recognition for being the charismatic and open president that we all know and love. Sort of. Hear me out here, folks, because they're not going to tell you the full story. They're not going to tell you the whole truth. That's what I'm here for.
I mean, listen, to his credit, like, he does sit down with a lot of reporters. And I think every reporter who's ever sat down with him has had the same experience that Ashley does, which is, like, he will engage. All the mean tweets and all the crap that you see on X or social media, you see very little of that in private. He actually will engage you. Unlike a lot of presidents, he'll ask you questions. His love language is a little bit of confrontation, so he's happy to have it. He really believes what he's doing. And I actually think the most interesting quote was that quote about Hegseth saying he better get his act together. For him even to admit that his act needs to get together is something he usually doesn't do. And he is aware that the Defense Department right now is a mess, and that is a problem for him. And that's ultimately when you lose a job around Trump, if you start to make him look bad.
Well, first of all, he's done more in the first 100 days than I've done in my 38-year career. So he's great to watch. But I really love the cabinet meetings. He lets the American people into those rooms. We get to observe the questions and the answers, know what they're doing. It's really a way that he connects with the public, and I think that's so important.
I think that is really important. Americans are reacting to President Trump's first 100 days, and this woman says, I really love the cabinet meetings. He lets the American people into those rooms. We get to observe the questions and the answers, know what they're doing. It's really a way that he connects with the public. And stark contrast in comparison to how his opponent, loser at that, how she connects with the public. Now, in this grift here where Kamala Harris is charging supporters $25 to watch a live stream of her upcoming speech.
For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. I mean, look at this beautiful play and everything that we know he was suppressed, he had to suppress so much. But he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed, and it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something. Right. And that's our optimism, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. With that, I'll leave.
Ollie London says Kamala Harris is set to speak at the Emerge America fundraiser, where she will address the first 100 days of the Trump administration. While guests can pay for a $250 in-person general admission seat, the event is offering a live stream only digital ticket for her supporters, costing $25. This is almost as bad as the Down syndrome filter being used by OnlyFans models to pull in new memberships, which ironically are on average white married men over the age of 40.
Knows I get my pip. Wait.
This is one of the most disgusting things that I have ever seen on social media. There are women out there that are using filters and AI to make it appear as if they have Down syndrome just so they can sell more subscriptions to their OF account. Now, I don't know if they're stealing content or using their own, but why in the world does this filter even exist in the first place? And how sick in the head do you have to be to actually do this? And what type of pervert sicko actually goes and subscribes? So, to all the women out there that are doing this and the people that support them and subscribe, shame on you. You need to do better. I really, really hope that Instagram and OF do something to stop this.
Meanwhile, in other under or unreported news in regard to our president here, breaking news, President Trump just negotiated peace between Rwanda and Congo while exposing the mainstream media for ignoring this major accomplishment. Would you have known about this otherwise?
Right. You just shared on your social media about the great news for Africa. Can you tell more for the African people? Everybody's so excited.
We do. We have a great news, I believe, coming up with Rwanda and the Congo. And I think you're going to be seeing peace in Rwanda and the Congo and a few other nations right around. And that would be a terrific thing. So we hope that's going to happen.
And also your administration will invest over $6 billion to the Angolan Lubero corridor that will basically transport minerals, critical minerals from Congo, Angola, and many other countries.
We're looking to do some nice things and keep it peaceful. We're going to keep it peaceful. Thank you, darling.
Negotiating his skills are unbelievable. You remember when he was negotiating for the Boeing jet, and he talked about how he wanted it under, I think it was $300,000 or something. He got it to $299,999.
Well, because the man knows planes, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'd like inflation to come down a little more, but I'm patient. I think we need to be patient because he's going to get it done. He's got the stomach for it, and we just got to be behind him 100%. So just keep doing what you're doing, President Trump. We love it.
Keep doing what you're doing, President Trump. We love it. But I know something that a lot of folks don't love, and that is having their privacy invaded, their information stolen, data tracked. CNN guest calls Amazon's tariff pricing a great use of big data. Can you believe that?
Well, let's just think about a nutritional label on a product. I mean, many of us look at those labels when we go in, we're looking at the calories, looking at how much protein something has. Imagine if you could have that kind of transparency when you're buying your phone or buying your car or buying avocados. That's powerful. First of all, it's an amazing use of the incredible amounts of big data that these companies have. I mean, this is a great use of it. It is very political, I would say. I mean, the president, Carolyn Leavitt, channeling the president, called it a hostile and political act, which did sound very threatening in terms of what the president was channeling to Jeff Bezos there. I think it's also very interesting in terms of where big tech and where some of the largest and most powerful CEOs in the country stand in relation to Trump. And I was wondering when this penny was going to drop, because yes, you saw, as Caitlin said, them all sitting in the front row at the inauguration. It was this sort of parade of American oligarchs. On the other hand, boy, have their businesses been hit by Liberation Day. Confidence is down. We've seen consumers very worried about the economy, about spending. That has huge potential economic impact, and it has political impact too. I think we're going to see this. I won't call it a war, but this conflict, perhaps, between Amazon and the president really resonate both economically and politically. I imagine that Republicans and Democrats are thinking about what to make of this right now.
And I posted this over on my X account. If you want to get a good laugh, look at the replies beneath it. And let me know if you think that these folks should be sued by President Trump for defamation. However, my post says, wow, Jeff Bezos tucking his tail between his legs after Caroline Leavitt just roasted Amazon for announcing they'll be showing tariff prices next to products to consumers. This is a hostile and political action by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when Biden hiked inflation to the highest levels in 40 years? As Reuters reported, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda firm, and this is another reason Americans should buy American.
A perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies.
I will take this, since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise, because as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is Jeff Bezos still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's relationships with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. And Secretary, if you have anything.
And Jeff Bezos should really keep his eye on the ball, focus on what's most important, and stop sending frickin' Katy Perry to outer space. I don't think that Trump's relationship or lack thereof with Jeff Bezos even really frickin' matters at this point. Just my take. However, at the same time, Jeff Bezos is currently only the executive chairman of Amazon. He stepped down as CEO on July 5th of 2021 and transitioned to this role. I think Andy Jassy took over. And he remains involved in strategic decisions, particularly those described as one-way door decisions, such as major acquisitions and initiatives, which are hard to reverse, if not impossible. And while he focuses much of his time on other ventures like Blue Origin and astronauts and philanthropy, more so his ex-wife more than him, he continues to influence Amazon's direction, especially in areas like artificial intelligence, and holds significant sway as the company's largest individual shareholder with approximately 8.6% ownership. However, I would venture to say he doesn't even freaking know what Andy Jassy just did. But I know what our president's doing, and I know that America is very, very pleased. How about you?
The first 100 days, what grade would you give Donald Trump and why?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 20.
20. And why 20?
I feel safer. I feel more confident. I know who's running the country, and we haven't for the last 4 years. I think the economy is going to come around. I love the people that he's picked for the cabinet. I think everybody is just doing a top-notch job, and I love Doge.